All right. Good day. Good morning, Renita.
Good morning, everyone.
And the
Good
audience
morning,
will
Brian.
be, yeah, we'll be getting started in a few minutes here. What people are coming into the session right now, I can see to the webinar. So if you just, yeah, just give us a minute. We'll be getting started here soon. Refresh your coffee if you have it.
No, just some water.
Yeah, I see people
Yep.
joining still. Good. We have a nice little audience today. All right. What's new? Also, a new version of GoToWebinar software, Renita. So new controls.
Yeah. Hope we don't no, do something wrong during the webinar and the
That's
video goes off.
my disclosure.
My
That's my
yeah.
yeah. It looks better. Looks good.
That looks good. Yeah, definitely.
I still haven't switched from Outlook Classic to the new Outlook yet. So
Same here. Oh, we are one of those people who don't like change, I guess. Not a good things to say in IT, but I see a lot more people joining in. Yep.
yeah, it's good. So let's just give it another 30 seconds or so while
Hmm.
they join, and then we'll get going so that people who came on time don't have to wait.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're good, right? Yeah, we're good. Well, why don't we just kick it off then, Renita? And good day, everyone, again. I think we've said that once before, but thanks for coming. Welcome to this Fastman presentation. I'm Brian Lapointe, and I'm joined by Renita Day, a highly skilled senior ECM consultant here at Fastman as Renita. And we both have spent many years within the OpenText ecosystem. And today we're excited to showcase the Fastman Bulk Data Manager solution for OpenText content management, along with something new. We now have support for the core content SaaS platform. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. And whether you're preparing to deploy AI-driven solutions that leverage the knowledge stored in your documents, your records, your content within OpenText, or you simply need to enhance your information governance practices, Fastman, that's what Fastman does. We offer the best tools to make the job easier. So that's what we're all about here. So, Renita, again, would you like to just say hello to the audience here, just so we get a little voice recognition?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm excited for the webinar today. We are going to show you two different solutions, and they do work great with content management systems. So yeah, excited.
Thank you. Okay, well, I guess without further ado, we can get started. And what sometimes we like to do is start with a few poll questions, just kind of that's our way of level setting and kind of understanding who's here, and just a few interesting, get some feedback from make it interactive in that way. There's a new button for me to click for polls. Let's try it out, Renita. Okay, I'm going to start and I'm going to run a poll. I appreciate if your feedback that you can give to this, and we'll start with the first one. Essentially, how do you currently bulk load files into your OpenText system, your OpenText content management or core system? Um, and so choices: are you using the object importer based solution, whether you're directly or something built up upon it? Are you're relying on, professional services to kind of just bring it in a way? Or you're using other applications that you have. OTIC is a popular one, the Integration Center. Also, there's an application called Content Bridge out there. So just wanted to get a sense. Um, so I guess we're seeing the results coming in right around 29% for object importer, 57% for using the other applications, which is OTIC or something they built, and third-party professional services that right around 14%. So good. I appreciate that feedback. Thank you. I got another one coming right up here. Let me end this poll. I'm new to the polls. Okay, here it is. Lunch. Are you using an open? Okay, so I want to know, anyone using the OpenText core products in any way? They're SaaS products. This could be core content. This could be core capture. This could be anything in the. I mean, those would be the two that come to mind. But there are core archive and things like that. So we're getting some feedback coming in. Thank you. Yeah, so I see a couple folks. Oh, here's another one. Yeah, it's coming back 38%. Yes, we've deployed it, so they could be using some form of it. Some people are considering it, and 40% have no plans. No, so 45% have no plans is what it's looking like right now. So I'll share these polls once we get through it. But I appreciate that. Thank you. So there is some core out there. So I kind of kept it generic. It's not like it's, there's different core products for Reader, as you know. There's core content, core capture, core archive, core this, core that, right? So people are familiar with the SaaS. That's good. I have another poll. I got 4. Is your OpenText content management deployed in the cloud? So we're talking about extended ECM, content server. The official name OpenText Content Management is the namesake. So is it in the cloud? So I'm seeing results come in, and so yes, it's in the OT cloud. So that's the OpenText hosted cloud. No, or the other option would be yes, I have it in my own hyperscaler with AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, and the other choice would be on-prem. So I'm seeing some OT cloud, 8%. I'm seeing yes on the hyperscalers, like 23%, but I'm seeing the majority having it on-prem self-managed, or neither around 69%.
Yeah, off cloud.
Off
That's
cloud.
the term. That's the term we
Yeah,
use, right?
just
In
off cloud.
OpenText. Yeah.
That was the funny name for that. So, okay, so that gives us a good sense. That's all great. Let's end the poll, and then I'll do one more poll here, guys. So this will be helpful for us today for the presentation. What data transformation are you most interested in today for this session? One choice is migrating shared network drive data to OpenText. You have it in another system or on your network drives. And I want to move that to OpenText. I need to update my metadata. This could be your category and attribute information and records management on existing content within the OpenText system. That's another choice. Or I need to configure a simple bulk load processes for my business users. I want to streamline a process and make it easier for them to do the loading themselves, let's say. So what do we see here? Results are coming in. I appreciate the feedback from everyone. And okay, I think it looks like it's settling out here. So I'm seeing 42% are looking to still need to migrate shared drives, as we would say, the network drive piece. We have a lot of customers that we work with on that. 33% have a need to do updates to existing content. And there are a few folks here that have a business process they want to automate, right? So 25%'s there. So I'm going to end and share the results. I don't know how that really works on sharing the results on the screens. So that's why I usually verbally say it. There's probably a better way for me to share that data with you guys there at some point, and I will do that. Okay. All right. So we got the polls done, Renita. Thank you. Helping me along here. I'm just going to kind of dive into things right now. So I got a few slides just to talk about the solution, and then we got some nice live demonstrations we're going to show you working with our content management systems that we have access to, and I think that'll be the most interesting part of it today too. So we'll start off with some of the challenges that we sometimes run into, and let's be honest, there's a lot of buzz around generative and agentic AI right now, and every day we see headlines about new breakthroughs and new bold bold predictions about how AI will transform the way we work. But inside, but inside many organizations, the reality feels a bit different, right? AI AI projects can be tough to get off the ground, and sometimes the results are inconsistent, or worse, you get hallucinations out of these things. And when that happens, trust evaporates quickly, right? So why does this keep happening? More often than not, it really comes down to information governance. AI can only be as good as the data it is fed. And if that data isn't clean, structured, or trustworthy, the AI's output won't be either, right? And to make things more challenging, IT teams are already juggling a never ending list of repetitive tasks, such as granting access, fixing permissions, cleaning up metadata, and trying to pull together content scattered across different systems. And it's a lot, for people to do. So what are the solutions there, right? Well, I mean, the open text content management and core content platforms, they already give organizations a strong foundation, especially when they're connected or integrated through their extended ECM systems like SAP, Salesforce, your Microsoft 365 applications. Um, then you have business workspaces to help tie your documents directly to the
Brian,
processing. Yeah.
uh, there was a message that are you sharing a screen? I could see the screen very well, but I think one of the users isn't. Can you verify from your end as well whether the screen is shared well?
Hmm. Maybe there's an issue over there with some of
Okay,
this.
someone else confirmed that it is. They can see the screen, so I think we can carry on.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I really
Thank you.
appreciate.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
I
just a
appreciate this.
one person issue which seeing the screen. Okay. Yeah, trusting it's all about trust with your data, right? So if you can.
I know. I was like, I'm a host, so whether I'm seeing the screen because of that and a participant is not, so that's the reason
Right.
I asked you to
No,
pause. I'm sorry about that. Please go ahead.
no. I don't mind it at all, quite frankly. It's good to get these things right. So we were just talking about the solution, right? Information governance, and how everyone's in a different point on their journey, and some are exploring ideas of, we're talking about AI on that journey, right? So, are you running proof of concepts or launching pilot projects? But fundamentally, no matter where you are in the process, the success of your AI really is going to come down to one thing. And again, it's that clean, trustworthy data. And AI can't perform well without a solid information governance foundation, and that's why Fastman focuses on giving customers that simple. What we do is we give you simple self-service tools that ensure that your content is clean, compliant, and ready for AI. Right? That is basically the message that we're and I just says it's not all about AI. It's getting there real quick though. But the block and tackling of this is just keeping everything organized and clean in their systems so you can use the data. Okay. Fastman has been part of the OpenText ecosystem. We've been doing the company for over 20 years. And we have a deep expertise in the OpenText content management, which is I think I said it's formerly known as Extended ECM Content Server. And now we have a new offering for core content as well. So that's kind of exciting. So we're moving forward in that direction. Um, from a company perspective, we operate three business lines. We call it, we have our managed services, professional services organization, managed agreements. So we work closely with DocuSign and OpenText solutions on that. And then what we're here today talking about, the Fastman Management Suite. And the suite is our out-of-the-box toolkit designed to enhance any OpenText content management or core content deployment. Its purpose is simple: to improve the precision of your information governance so you're better prepared for AI initiatives, including deploying OpenText Content Aviator if you choose. And within the suite, on the left side, it's anchored by the permissions manager solution from Fastman that many people know about, which is ideal for ensuring timely and compliant access to content. The tools on the right focus on data consolidation and metadata cleanup. And today we'll be focusing specifically on bulk data manager. And also, I just want to mention, Fastman, we hold several key distinctions within the OpenText ecosystem. We're a proud solution extension partner, which means the Fastman management suite is fully approved and available through OpenText. We also maintain ISV and system integrator status with OpenText, along with the OT Cloud certification for OpenText content management platform. So, the Fastman management suite is OT Cloud ready to go if you're moving in that direction. So that's good to know now, or if you're going to plan to do it in the future. So let's talk about BDM. As we say, Bulk Data Manager, BDM for short, is our flagship solution for data transformation. It has a very light deployment footprint and brings true self-service capabilities to our customers. It's a client application that works with both the OT Cloud and on-prem content management systems. And now, as I mentioned, it's available for core content SaaS as well. So IT teams love it because they can safely hand the tools the business uses to complete migrations and updates without needing to be hands-on for every step. Okay. Customers use Bulk Data Manager to update metadata on existing content and to load taxonomies and documents from shared drives. It could be SharePoint, even a box drive if you're bringing it in from a third-party source into OpenText. And for organizations using content management, it often replaces the object importer solution entirely. And this is especially important if and when you go to the OT Cloud environment, because it's difficult to, if not able to really deploy object importer at that point. Licensing is simple. It's priced by production instance with no user limits and no transaction limits. And because you log in with your standard OpenText credentials, the tool fully respects your existing security model. So it really just kind of bolts on to your existing environment. At the end of the day, Bulk Data Manager makes it easier and faster to get content into OpenText, which naturally will help you drive user adoption. And if you're planning a move to OT Cloud, this is an ideal fit. Let's talk about this. There's a lot of different ways to use Bulk Data Manager. And the great thing is, whether you're running OpenText content management in the OT Cloud or off cloud, you can configure the tool to achieve any of these outcomes, such as loading files and folders in the business workspaces as part of an extended ECM deployment, right? You're deploying SuccessFactors with extended ECM for OpenText, but you still got to get your historical data into the system, right? It can help you do that and help you move it into business workspaces. Handling, maybe you have a large, what we call lift and shift migration. We have customers that have used it for like bringing in over 50 terabytes of external data into the OpenText system. So it can be used for that all through the APIs. Or many customers, have initiatives to retire their legacy network shared drives and need an easy solution for moving the content into OpenText just in time. And it really, and that approach is, it's really a fast way to get started yourself without having to hire a costly PS engagement for doing it. Or I had as one of my poll questions, people will, because you can define a business process, so they'll use it for, as I like to say, ingesting documents on like on a regular basis as part of that business process. Think of like a client file submission process, HR onboarding. Even in contract lifecycle management, or even in engineering, if you're doing extended ECM for engineering, the client submission file aspect of it, there's different things that need to be done when we're bringing the files in, and we want to enforce that. But again, at the end of the day, it seems like everyone has a need for updating or fixing metadata at some point on the system, and this does that in bulk, so you don't have to go through and click through all the screens. And if you're doing records management, it's also very helpful on updating your, because records management has a lot of metadata to keep up, to handle and manage. so it can do bulk updates on your records management information. So it's very flexible, scalable, and it fits into almost any content management scenario you may have, right? So it's just wanted to share that with you. And as we take a quick look at Bulk Data Manager, a few key features really stand out. First, it's the BDM uses profiles, which gives you control over the business process while keeping things simple for your users. Second, you can validate the content before you migrate or update it. Something that becomes incredible. This is something that becomes incredibly helpful when you're dealing with large volumes or complex metadata, right? And then third, BDM provides detailed logs and performance statistics so you can track processing times and maintain solid quality control over the jobs that you're doing. Okay. And during the demo, you'll see how all of these features work together to create a smooth, reliable experience for everyone. Right. So this is already built out with the best practice. You don't have to custom make something yourself. You can just kind of configure this tool for yourself there. Okay, I think this is kind of interesting for everyone here. Now let's just take a moment to talk about OpenText's core content, right? And then Fastman Bulk Data Manager for Core is built on the same proven best practices as our content management version. It delivers the two key capabilities. We call it load taxonomy and update attributes. And just like the classic BDM that I was talking about, it's a self-service client application. So again, the business users can handle data transformations without needing a complex, expensive professional services project. They can do it themselves. You get the same familiar, we call it a spreadsheet style interface to view and update items, along with built-in validation, performance statistics, audit logs. Will help you ensure quality and accuracy of your updates. And again, IT loves it because they can safely empower the business users to manage bulk uploads and updates instead of being pulled into long, time-consuming migration efforts. And the business users rely on it because because they can quickly do it themselves to update metadata and bring taxonomies and documents from shared drives, bring in content from another system like SharePoint, or even like I mentioned, Box drives and things like that into core content. And best of all, it gives the overall organization a simple, reliable way to prepare content for AI-driven automation and cleaner governance moving forward when you do it this way. Before we jump into the live demonstrations, let's just take a quick look at this diagram and walk through some of the key components. On the left, you'll see the Bulk Data Manager client running on a user's PC. This is what your business users will interact with. Okay, the client communicates with your OpenText system over REST APIs. Okay, separately, there is a BDM deployment server, and this sits outside of OpenText, and it basically contains the settings service that manages configuration and controls the client, how the client connects. Okay, and with this context in mind, let's move to the demo so you can see how everything works together, right? Let's see how this is going to go. All right, for this next part of the webinar, I'm going to hand things off to Renita Day, who has lined up a few great live demo scenarios for us. We're going to start with the Bulk Data Manager for Content Management. This is our classic BDM solution. In this scenario, we're going to consolidate contract documents from an external source, in this case, it's actually SharePoint, into business workspaces within content management that are integrated with our extended ECM for Salesforce deployment. So interesting. We'll also apply records management classifications in bulk, pulling from a source generated by a content server saved search, right? So it's kind of a two-part process. So we're going to show you how that can work. You can do it all together as one process, but we kind of broke it into two. This approach not only strengthens your information governance by consolidating and tagging content, it also applies meaningful business structure, making that content truly AI ready and tightly connecting it to the business process, as you can see. Right. Next, let me just get that up there. We'll move to Bulk Data Manager for Core. Here, we'll showcase the load taxonomy and update attributes capabilities and walk through how you can quickly build a proof of concept for Content Aviator. So we're going to load some stuff in there, and then we're going to show you how you can ask some quick questions on how easy it is to do a proof of concept, quite frankly. Okay. Hey, Renita, I think I'm done now at this point. Would you like to take it away? Are you there, Renita?
Yes, I was about to share my screen. I hope you can see it.
I do.
As,
I
okay.
see OpenText content management.
Yep, good. So I'll start with BDM for content management, and then I'll move to BDM for core bit. So yeah, as you were saying, I do have some business workspaces. These were created from a lead application in uh, Salesforce actually. So I have accounts in there, and I've just created those using a bulk update process, right? Over here, I have some data in my SharePoint site. So let me bring that over real quickly. Oops, there you go. So these are my data in SharePoint. Currently, they are in a site. You can see over there, they actually belong to a SharePoint site, which is synced to my network using the OneDrive folder, right? Um, it's a pretty simple structure. I have my name of the account, and then I do have some contract files underneath each of them. So 01 basically means a folder in content server for me as well. I can map that later on as well, but for now I have just done a sync in a way that it's going to relate to a folder in business workspace, right? So the idea is to bring the document which is there in SharePoint or OneDrive, which is synced to my system, into content server or content management system using BDM, right? So here I have my BDM, I start action, load taxonomy. You can see that I've connected to my demo environment. I have my contract document as a profile selected. There are some categories associated with it, and I've also updated a little bit on the attributes end for that. So I'm going to start with a fresh one, so new. Next, I'm going to select my folder. So over here, if you remember, I was under Fastman, demo, and then account. This is the folder that I was showing you earlier on my drive, right? I select that. That's my source. On basis of the name, I'm going to remove the extension, and I'm going to remove the underscore as well, or the text after the underscore for naming the documents in content server. So I've put both the checkboxes on, and then I go in, right? Next, what it's going to do is based on my permission, is going to bring the enterprise folder in. And because I did a little bit of testing before the demo today, you can see the 5 main folders have been loaded. This is the account folder that I was working on. I can extend it just to show you the business workspaces that were inside that particular folder. So you can see some of the folders are present in my local drive, some of them are not. So it's going to map that out when I do the upload process, right? So I've selected that. Next, I get the list of categories that have been associated on my profile. I do have the document type category. The contract document is not a mandatory category on the profile, so it gave me an option to tick it or skip it. For now, I will include that for my upload process. Based on the category attribute, then it shows me the list of attributes, and then for each of them, it also shows me if any of them is a mandatory attribute. So the yellow one actually means it's a mandatory attribute, either set in content server or set in the BDM profile. So I can override that option in BDM, where a non-mandatory field in content server can be made mandatory for my upload process. So that can be helpful in certain processes where you want a user to provide an input irrespective of your setup in content server. And basically that user has to provide that information to upload it via BDM. So in here, this is a document type, it's a drop down. We support TKL drop down. So I'm going to select contract type. I'm going to say something. Status, I'm going to say active for now. Currency, I'll leave it now. I'll fill it in the next page, right? What it's going to do next is going to give me the list of documents from my SharePoint site. So you can see that list here. I think there are around 20, 22 documents. This is the first level, which will map to my business workspaces brand. And then this is the second folder where it's going to go and reside in one of the subfolders in the business workspace, right? You can see here, this is the name. It removed the extension. It removed the value after underscore. If I want to update any of them, I could do that. Oops, I don't want that. I want 2026. And then I think this is what should get copied over to these ones as well. So I just use copy feature. Um, I'm
This
going
is
to
the,
upload.
this is the view that everybody loves because when they bring in things in, they can see it in
Mm,
one place. This is where
yep.
self-service, they can fix things themselves. They know their data.
Exactly. They know that data is it's a simple process. It's a wizard-driven tool, as you can see. You don't require much training to learn the tool, and it's like following the bouncing ball, right? So simple, easy. Go ahead and just start working on your data right ahead instead of like coding, scripting in the background, right? And this is something that you can give to your business user. They know their data. If their data is in SharePoint and they want to bring it in Content Server or content management, they know their categories. They can go and very well update that data, decide where that data should land today. So you can see here, I can actually save the spreadsheet as well and work on it offline and then bring it back at a later point of time. And I'll skip all the initial step and I'll land back on this screen, to be honest with you. And I do that obviously sometimes when I'm prepping my demo data for certain demos and things like that as well. So you can see here is pretty useful. As you can see, it's an Excel sheet which is in line embedded in the tool itself. It gives me all the Excel-y features. I can say that the end date on these contracts are going to be end of the year, so 12/31, 2026. And you can see that date has been updated on all my documents. If I want, I can provide a currency. And then if something is like, I think this is for, yeah, I can change it over here and then drag and drop. So, it's pretty easy to look at your data and then update it. So yeah, as I was showing you, maybe the Euro one would be over here. Anyways, I have updated all the information that I wanted to provide this upload. And then if I'm happy, I will click on the finish button. This gives me two options. I can either schedule it to run at a later point of time, maybe at 5 p.m., or I can start the job right now. And what it's going to do is going to see this folder structure that is there. If a folder does not exist, it will create it. If it is present, it's going to map it and go ahead and upload the document inside that. Right. So this is business workspace. My folder structure is pre-populated. So is you can see it's just starting the process up here. These are my 22 documents in this structure, and some of them as I told you, right, I did prep this data a little bit, so I kept a few failures just to show how it looks. So
Yep.
yeah, certain documents were present inside that, but most of it will pass. And in a minute, you can see that I'm getting the list as it is uploading the documents, is creating a link to the document, is also giving you the path to that document. So yeah, those three files which I had kept in my folder have failed, but rest everything have been successfully uploaded. So a total of 19 from the 22 were uploaded successfully, 3 errors, and then it finished in 33 seconds as we were talking, right? And then per document, it didn't take much. It took me 1.3 seconds. What I did is I uploaded the document, created that new node, applied to different categories, applied attributes for those two categories, and I also changed the owner if I wanted, right? I did change it to Renita Day. So it will check if that user is there in Content 7 and it will map it to that user as well. So I did a lot during this 33 seconds. I'm going to show you how it looks in Content Server. So this is going to take me to the property page. It's under Burlington Textile Corporation. You can see that the description was what I provided in the Excel sheet. Contract from SharePoint. You can see that it is owned by Renita. You remember I changed that information. I did create it with admin account, so it kept it. It also kind of kept the original creation and modification date as well as the owner COF ID over here, right? And then I'll quickly take you to the category tab. I had two categories defined on the profile, the document type, which was a drop down. I selected contract for that for all the documents. It's all going into the 01 folder. And then the contract document category, which had a few other attributes. I did make contract and status mandatory. You can see it's not really mandatory over here. And then I did provide an end date for these values, right? So you can see I can target a specific area in a network drive, shared drive, or a SharePoint or a OneDrive, and then bring that into content management. And during that process, the whole Excel sheet has been generated. So if I want to do some changes, I could do during the import as well, right? So I'm going to take a pause, Brian. I'm going to go to the audit tab. Maybe we can just quickly have a look at that together, just to show everyone that I created this. There was a rename happening because I did remove the extensions and things like that. Then the categories were added and all the attributes were changed as well as the owner was changed. I didn't do RM during this process. I wanted to do that as a second step, but if needed, I could have also associated with an RM and it would have taken that information in. So I'm going to pause, see if there's anything.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
showed a lot of things very precisely in what are happening
yeah,
there. So just going back, like,
mm,
the ability to see your data is first. You get that in the set, and you get the Excel-like features to make the updates and fix your metadata in bulk,
yep,
not one by one, right? If you
mm,
went through like if you're doing it, you see it that way. You can schedule it, right?
yep,
So yeah, and there's also limits in the tool. So if you're the administrator on the tool, you can set the bulk load limits in the admin side and configure profiles for the business users so they don't just start loading in huge amounts of data during work time, right? But you can but the scheduling also lets you run it after hours. That's why it's
yep,
there, right? So there is some training that goes along with anything for people, but it still is a self-service tool. I like
yep,
when it's running through. I like the results that you showed in the log, right? So it
yep,
shows you the success and the failures, right? Because
yep,
you're always going to have those. And I'll tell you that quick link to the document, it takes you to the metadata. You want to know, did this thing work? Right?
yep,
We set up demos all the time. That link's probably one of the most useful things that you, Renita, and I use, right? Takes us right to content server. We can verify immediately how it looks in content server and get in all that
spot checks.
metadata,
Yes,
set up
spot checks, recon, those things are very important when you move something out in content management. And I think this page really helps you. And you can see I run that a lot, and you can see all my all my uploads using different users, different accounts, admin, all of it over here. And I can go
and
past and see, failure, success. If I'm
statistics.
debugging something,
How
it
long is the
just
job going to run? You run a small job, you'll see how long it takes. You can calculate that for a longer job. So just
yep,
those little statistics down below there is extremely valuable. You want to know.
mm,
So it's a safe way to do these, to let the users do this
yep,
as a self-service tool. And then it's updating a lot of stuff, as you can see in the system,
yep,
and it's going through the APIs. Everything's logged in the audit trail in OpenText too.
right. Now I've loaded this data. I'm going to update that real quick. I didn't provide RM. Also, there is some data that I had preloaded for this demo. So I'm going to show you how that's going to affect. So I'm going to start with the update attribute right over here. There are a few features as you can see on my dropdown. Let me just quickly show you. I did load taxonomy. Now I'm going to update attributes. So I started with that. I'm going to start with a new one. I can start from Excel if I have the saved values. There are a few options. I like the browse and select sometimes if I'm targeting folder structures with similar metadata within it. And sometimes I like to use save search depending upon the use case. If I wanted to targeted updates based on a category attribute or based on a text or a search field, I could do that as well, right? So I'm going to use save search for today. what I've done is I've created a saved query in my system, which is going to list down all the documents which are having the word contract in it. So you can see over here that I've got a few documents. They have been named contract over here, right? And this is going to rely on your search results. So if it is not indexed because I did a search just over here. Okay, that's fine. I can do with this 4 documents. You can see 4 documents added, and then I'm going to start with this one, right? I go next. Again, the 2 categories that I selected are available over here. I have more options available from the profile. It tells me whether I want to update the item description, also whether I want to add it to a collection for, you know, updating, but maybe permissions using permission manager or just doing an export, right? You can see over here that it has exported the metadata right on the side. I can see the path to the document. I hadn't really provided any category information. Maybe I did a drag and drop. It didn't have any mandatory attributes. So I was not really required to enter a data for it. But those information is needed for search and indexing. So there's missing gaps in my metadata today. Status is very important. I would like that to be here, right? Contract type, again, is not mandatory, but you can provide a value. I'm using row 3, which was available in low taxonomy in all our features, basically. So I enter a value on the top 3rd row, and it actually fills down everything. And then for these ones, you can see some of them are 2024 data. So I could actually change, uh, so 12, 31st, 2025 or something like that, right? Oh, sorry. Okay, there you go, right? And then the type of document, this one somehow shows is a correspondence. I think maybe I did enter some values for some of them, so it's not right. So when I look into this data, it tells me, hey, you know what? It's not correct, and I'm going to fix that, right? And then on the right-hand side, you can see I have RM. Again, this too looks incorrect because this is saying last action. Instead, it should be this contract term expiration, which means that the end date on the category is important to me, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix that as well. So 3.2.1, that's what the RM should be. And then you can see all the other information from the RM side has been there. And then it also needs the receive date. So I'm going to put that information over here. And then I'm just going to make sure I don't have any yellow columns that I need to fill. And then if anything was missing, so if it did have a value missing or something like that, or a value incorrect, it would give me pop-ups and things like that to go and get it corrected, right? So I'm going to correct that. I'm going to click on finish. It's going to give me a prompt saying that the record date is a mandatory field. Okay? So I'm going to fill this value now over here. And then once it is ready, I'm going to click on finish, right? So again, as you saw, is pretty helpful because all my data validation happened on that screen rather than at a later point of time at API level, and nothing got failed because I didn't provide information or something like that. And then you can see all this data has been correctly updated in the system. I'm going to quickly open one of them. You can see this one. I didn't do any description change for this, but I did update the category information, right? So if I remember correctly, this was set up as correspondence, it's changed to contract, and I also provided the end dates for most of them. So you can go here and see that I did provide an end date for this one. And I also fixed the RM for this guy, right? So it was set up to something like correspondence, which was totally incorrect in this case. So this is a contract. I wanted 3.2.1, which is this RM classification. And this is all the other information that came in through my Excel sheet, right? And the ones which were mandatory here were also mandatory in the Excel sheet. So I have to provide a value to update this thing. So yeah, as you can see, it was again pretty quick, easy. I followed the visit, and then the audit track always shows that information to me. Right?
Yep.
So
Very
yeah,
nice.
yeah, these were the 2 demos that I had set up for content management. And now I'm excited to move to the core bit because that's new.
Yep.
Give me one quick second. I'm going to close the content management bit and just keep my core bit over here.
I think what you get is a lot of precision out of this tool,
Mhm.
Renita. Like,
Yeah.
this, you could tell we're just giving you the high level of this, but it works well with the systems that it integrates with, right? It's
Hmm.
highly integrated through the APIs. So and it's matured over the years. I mean, BDM came out 10 years ago, right? So
Oh, yeah.
it's been used, it's widely used, so you can trust it.
Right. I'm
Okay.
going to show you the same thing in for core now. So I did upload documents into Business Workspace in my previous demo, and then I went and updated that. I'll show you that the same can be done for core content management as well. For this, I'm going to use again Business Workspaces because I want to run Aviator on that. I'll start with load taxonomy, right? The first thing you need to authenticate is a little different because you have a tenant, you need to authenticate via that. So you can see I'm being asked to select the tenant first, and then I'll be taken to the login screen. A quick, fast way of, and you can see I had like two different authentication method as well. I have set it up with SFTC as well as another OAuth. So both of them I've successfully logged in, and you can see over here that I'm also logged into my BDM client using my core content management user account, right? Uh, the screens are very similar again, it's the same process. The core works a little differently, so we do have the document mapping structure over here, but essentially you select a folder from um, your demo and then you take it from there. So I have my setup over here. Um, Let me just go to product demo, load taxonomy, and this is the folder that I'm going to select. These are actually documents from our products, case studies, data sheets, things like that. And I'm going to bring that in three different workspaces in Core. Right? A little preview of the documents that are going in. I'm skipping 0KB files, DLL, EXEs, things like that on top, as you can see. I'm also skipping creating new folders which are empty in nature. So I can just create those folders where we have actual data, right? Next, based on my access in core is going to show me the folder structure. You can see I have two folders underneath it. It shows me that. I go to sales, it shows me the subfolders in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load it into products, which has the access manager, permission manager, and bulk data manager. So you can see those three folders over here, right? Next up, is going to do the document mapping based on the business workspace template and the document mapping set on the folder structure. So you can see some of them are being mapped to file because there's no other document type available. Some of them are being set to case study. If there is more, you will be asked to fill that out, and it will not let you progress in the wizard without doing that, and there are clear indications for that. But in some cases, it's pretty straightforward. There's one-to-one mapping between the folders and the document type. So it'll just let you go through and pass through, right? Then we get the drop downs. I'm going to say government and nonprofit. I do have one case study for energy, so I'm going to change that. And then if I want, I can also have like a change description for this bit, right? Again, the magic of Excel sheet will be available here. I'm going to close this so that I have more space to work on. You can see that these are my case study. As I told you, this is what I was thinking should be energy and utility. And then I can check and give like name, right? Uh, and so on and so forth. And then this is file, which doesn't really need any metadata. And if you have like a RM associated with the document type, obviously when we create the document, it gets automatically selected. I really haven't selected anything because then I can't delete the data. So I've skipped that bit. But if like for a real use case, you would have that information, it just keeps that book in the background, right? I can validate the data that I've entered. I can export this to an Excel sheet, same as PDM for content management, and I can work on this offline, bring it back at a later point of time, right? And then next, I can start the upload process. And then you can see it's going to map my folder structure from the system to different folders in core, and then it's processing them one by one. I think if I
Very
click on
nice.
that, yeah, it takes me to the folder, right? And then you can see here, this is the PDM document. So this is the base one that got created. I can see that here. I have my case study folder. I can go in here for bulk data manager and then show the case study. That's one. And then if I show you the properties for that, you will see that this is the one that I changed. I did give the customer name in here, and then I also kept the summary blank. So it's all in there. And the audit also, oh, sorry, the history will also keep a track on who did that operation, right? So created by Renita. Um, if I want to update that, I could do that as well from BDM. So you can see all of this being done, completed in milliseconds. It's almost within a minute actually, because I don't see a difference in time. There were 17 items and all of them were successful. And I can always come back to this logs at a later point of time. And I can also always export them as well, right? I'll close this. I'll go to update attributes. So this is my folder again. I can browse, or I can say case study, refresh, and it would give me the folders where it is. Okay, I think I don't have them directly in business workspaces. So yeah, let me refresh it again. Enterprise, and then product demo. Sorry, SFTC, and then sales, and then products. And you can see the three business workspaces. I'm selecting them all, and then I go next. And you can see the exported data that I had entered earlier is all coming up. If I want to change that, I can do that, right? And then this is for BDM. So BDM, I can again use third row and then update the information. There you go. And again, I can validate this information. If something is wrong, it would give me an error message. I have to make sure that I provide correct field validations, numbers, things like that are also validated against the attribute type. Next, I start the update process. And you can see the items where there was no change done, we don't go and run the API again on it. And the items where I do an update on an attribute, those would get changed here. So I did provide, I think, some data for the Government of Canada document. I think I changed the customer name on that. So I'll quickly show you that information. So you can see all of that. And you can see this was GOC earlier. I did change it to Government of Canada, right? And let me go and show you the history. There you go. All updated using PDM, following simple wizard tool. Again, not much training required, something that you can pass on to your users so that they can upload data in bulk in business workspaces. And once it is available, obviously I can summarize my workspaces or ask questions against it. So I did upload things related to our product. So I'm hoping it'll give me a good summary of our self-service products that we have in our toolkit. So you can see here, it did that based out of like 10 documents. So it's telling success stories, access manager features, about a little bit about bulk data management, a little bit about permission manager, right? So
It's a quick win for
it's a
AI.
quick win, yeah.
You have whatever customers have content that's proprietary to themselves and they want to put it in a safe, trustworthy environment, right? We can bring it into the business workspaces Aviator will run on it immediately, right? So this could be your operating procedures. This, you know what I mean? All kinds of natural language queries. You can ask questions on your operating procedures and get answers back. How valuable is that? I mean, you could think about it, right? Any data you bring in, it could be client information, contracts, you're bringing in all your old contracts from SharePoint, you're flipping over and you got Aviator right there. And it's very secure, safe way to do it. You can trust it. And BDM brings it in a nice structured way. Self-service, you can do it, right? It doesn't rely on you're not relying on a PS organization, a professional services contract or engagement to bring the data in. You can kind of bring it in just in time as you need, right? And like I said, put it in front of a business process or use it for, I went through all the different scenarios. And then, and no one, I've never gone through a I've been in the business, migrations happen all the time from one system to the other. There's always the need to go back and fix stuff, so the updating of content, whether it's stuff from a migration that, or it's just content that comes into the system, there's always a need to bulk update things. Okay, so I think we're pretty much we're at the end of the session right now, Renita.
I know.
I got some questions in but I think we'll just say I'll respond separately. I guess I was trying to dual answer some questions in the thread. We will have this video available. It'll anyone who registered for the webinar is going to get a link. We typically post it up on YouTube. So I know we had some people with some challenges, I think, getting into the GoToWebinar software for whatever reason. But I think when we post this up on YouTube, you'll get an email to it. Everyone can get to YouTube for the most part. That's kind of the easiest way. So we'll have this video recorded and available, and you can share it internally with other teammates if you need to at a later time. So good, great job. Anything else you'd like to add, Renita? I think we'll probably be closing this out at this point.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today, and reach out to us. I'll be reaching out to you if you registered for the webinar. If you want to have a private session, happy to. I'll be following up on any of the questions and stuff like that. I think we did get some on. There's something like Outlook email archiving and stuff like that. We've had customer with their audio files use BDM to load their voice files. I think those typically come into Outlook. So we've had customers use it that way. We could talk, the thing with BDM fundamentally is, I'll just throw this out there too. You can see when she's pulling information in, it's coming from any Windows network map drive. So if you can get to the drive, we can bring the files in, basically, is what is the fundamental thing. So when she brought it in from SharePoint, we did show that, you're bringing it in, essentially that was your map OneDrive is how you were pulling it in, right? Yeah. So that's kind of what you need to do. And that was one of the questions I saw on the question side of it. So, but yeah, we're available to do. We'd love to meet with you and do a private session for your team. Talk about your scenarios, because everybody's scenarios seem to always be different. And then the tool is available for evaluation. You can schedule an evaluation with us. It's always great when you can kind of connect it to your own data and see how it interacts. So we're open to doing those types of things too. Okay. All right. We had some good feedback on things here, Renita. Nice job today. And yeah, I'm done.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining in.
All right. Have a good day. We'll be talking to you. Hopefully we'll see you at OpenText World next year or any of the upcoming summits too. All right, folks. Bye for now.